that'll come with time. I think the big thing that came out of this game was, you talked about they were able to neutralize Mooney. Pfluger, who's a guy who in the years past had killed Carolina, wasn't a big part early in the game. The first half, what had Notre Dame winning was Prentice Hub and T.J. Gibbs both coming in, combining for 6 threes in the first half. Carolina kind of lost.
It was really only in that second half of the first half.
Yeah.
Like, they were cold early on and then just caught fire for that small stretch towards the end of the first half to get the lead. And after that, I mean, they never really hit anything else from deep the rest of the night. No, they got hot early, or late in the second half, late part of the first half, and in the second half, Carolina, and this was really a credit to Cole Anthony, the kind of pressure they put on them on the perimeter, did a much better job closing out on them when they had looks. Hub finished the game with 19, he had 22, and Gibbs had 19, but they had to work for it a little bit harder in the second half, and when you're neutralizing Mooney and Pfluger, Carolina was kind of able to compress their defense a little bit tighter on them. And that's something that I think is going to be big for this team moving forward. If they can take away bigs, which they haven't been able to the last couple years because they've been undersized, they can be more aggressive on the perimeter. We saw that tonight pay dividends in the second half as Notre Dame only shot 38% in the second half. So it was really a tough second half going for the Irish. Yeah, no, I think that's pretty spot on right there. They've definitely struggled inside over the last couple of years. And, we would talk about it, the 3-point shooting of Auburn was what most people were focused on. But even in that game, their big men were able to get inside and cause issues. It doesn't just and again, it's one game and we're trying not to overreact, but this showing was pretty good. This is a really good start for this team inside defensively. And this is exactly what you hope to see from this team for the rest of the year because, again, this is the ACC and it looks like that, a lot of the most successful teams are going to be built through their big men. So you're going to have to be ready to play against some of the best in the country in the ACC. And, this is a good way to start for Carolina. I was pleasantly surprised with both guys, as we talked about earlier. But, that kind of extends to the outside. And, I think that's, one of the other things, where Carolina, I thought maybe they might be a little bit vulnerable, especially with the fact that we've seen all these other guys, all these guys go down with injuries, including Brandon Robinson, who I thought was one of your better perimeter defenders. I think, this is a good start for this team, and especially to see some of these young guys stepping up and playing so well defensively.
It would be a sin at some point, and we're going to get to it now, if we did not rave about Cole Anthony at some extended length.
Yeah, he's good, right? Did you know his dad was at the game, by the way? Couldn't tell that. Nope. No, they didn't show him on camera at all.
Yeah, we never saw his dad. We never saw Kenny Smith.
Oh, you had to pause there because they were showing him again on television. They were showing him, yep. By the way, did he get that hat from Roy? Like, can we discuss the hat choice for Greg? No hat, buddy.
I'd much rather him just either go sheet and rock the toboggan, because I feel like Greg Anthony could get away with the toboggan look.
I don't know. I think he's got the dad look
or
too much. She don't look like a dad. She could have like 12 kids. He wouldn't look like a dad.
Just embrace the dome and go bald.
Kenny embraces the dome and goes bald. Yeah, exactly. He looks great.
So
I'm going to be real.
Questionable choice from Greg Anthony. And yes, hopefully this is not something that we have to deal with all year long. We figure his dad will be.
Hopefully this is a Sam Howell situation where they show his mom for the entire first game and then the rest of the season.
Hopefully
you know what she looks like.
But look, Cole Anthony, 34 points, UNC record for a player debut. The UNC
ACC record for a freshman debut.
Well.
Yes.
The UNC freshman record is 40. He put up 34 in his first game, so it feels like he's going to threaten this at some point later in the conference season against a team like Wake Forest, Boston College.
Our boy, Tar Heel Sports on social media said, just imagine what this man's going to do against NC State.
Yeah, it's going to be ugly.
The Wolfpack are watching like this is the next one, right?
Yep. He's the next point guard killer that has killed that program since Roy
Williams
returned.
It was Luke Bay the last couple of years, so you had to break with the big man. But
Kobe also flourished. But look, 34 points, 12 of 24 from the field, so very efficient. 6 of 11 from 3 kind of caught me off guard because he didn't shoot it well from deep in the scrimmage. And his first couple of 3-pointers tonight weren't close, but once he settled in,
once he caught fire, he literally was hitting anything he was looking at.
And there were some times he was showing some range. There was times you were seeing it on a pull-up. Sometimes you're seeing it on a catch. He was letting it fly. Thing I think I love the most about him tonight, 11 rebounds, all defensive.
Oh, I knew that was...
You know, at some point he'll get offensive rebounds.
Had to add that one in there for the rebounding.
But
there you go.
If I'm getting, you know, we're not going to count on him to get double-digit rebounds. That's unrealistic.
Yeah. We would hope your point guard doesn't lead you in rebounding this year. I mean, if he does, and look, if he's averaging double-digit rebounds and leading the team, feel free. But I mean, I would expect that some of these other guys, you know, are going to step up and take over. I think, like you said, though, because of how many threes Notre Dame was taking, especially late in the game, a lot of long rebounds. But the good thing is that, you know, in past years, we've seen that kind of be a little bit of an issue for Carolina, where if there are long rebounds, we'll see those 3, 4, you know, times that a team possesses it down the, you know, in one trip down the floor. It doesn't look like that's going to happen that often with Cole Anthony out there. He can snatch up just about every rebound.
He set the tone defensively tonight. And so you add 11 rebounds, 5 assists, turned it over 4 times. I'll live with that. Best number of the night was he was plus 21, which led the team.
There were only 2 guys on the team that were that had negatives tonight when it came to that.
Yeah, it was Bakai and Christian Keeling. So not surprising, but who those the 2 guys are. So overly impressive. Look, he was the talk of Twitter in the second half, not only from Carolina basketball fans, but from college basketball media, who, you know, we've seen a lot of people rave about him. And look, he entered with all the preseason hype in the world. He answered the hype, and it drew some praise from the Hall of Fame head coach in the postgame.
Between those lines, during conditioning, during the simplest little thing, that is one tough little nut. I used to call a couple other players that who were pretty doggone good.
And look, I'm going to tell you something. Want to credit Tar Heel Sports Network for giving that soundbite to us. If you're getting that kind of praise after game 1, that's stuff that Marcus Page, Joel Berry, I want to say Kobe White got that name too at some point last year.
I don't remember hearing that, but I could be wrong.
You know, when Roy goes there, that's the biggest compliment he can give you.
This is game 1. This is game 1.
And so, and I think something, and I'll let you speak on this, and I tweeted this out, and I wrote about it. The most impressive thing I loved about him tonight was when he started filling it up in the second half. 23 of his 34 came in the second 20-minute session. His defense didn't relax. If anything, he got more aggressive defending. And he's picking the ball up, putting pressure on the ball. He's as good as a player I've seen in terms of knowing when a screen's going to come to move through a screen and switching and talking and all that kind of stuff. And that's really big for this team. They're going to need him to be a defensive force, which Carolina hasn't had at the point guard position to some degree. Marcus Page was okay. Joel Berry was okay. Ty Lawson was fast. Raymond Felton was a pretty good defender.
Still is a pretty good defender.
And that's something that, I mean, if he can defend at a really high level on the perimeter, it just adds something more to this Carolina basketball team.
Okay, so in the preseason, we heard that this was the most complete player at point guard that Roy has ever brought in, probably ever coached. And, you know, we're kind of sitting there thinking, okay, come on. Like, look at the list of guys that he's coached, even going back to Kansas. And you're telling me that out of all those guys, this guy is the best. We know this for sure. Okay, we don't know that for sure just yet. This is a heck of a start to a career. Gonna be really honest with you. This is, very impressive. And you're right. You know, you would expect, especially, this guy, he had one break the whole game. He had a 3-minute segment in the first half where he set out. They pretty much realized after that, and, you know, I said this almost, you know, kind of jokingly, but I don't know if Roy, you know, Roy might think this. You won't see the bench the rest of the year unless it's for a very, very short period of time.
He's going to get the Kendall Marshall treatment in 2012 where your rest are going to be predicated on a TV timeout upcoming. So you get that dead ball at like 16:50 or something like that, or in that kind of situation, that's when Roy's going to pull you. That way you get to the TV timeout. That's a guaranteed 2.5 to 3 minutes for you to get some water, get your second win. He told Roy Williams today, "I'm ready to go 40." That's not a recipe for success moving forward. He will get tired. But it shows you his competitive fire, that he knows this team needs him to be that kind of guy.
Right.
And he's not scared of the moment as an 18-year-old.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he looks, believe me, he looks like a kid that early on in the season and then, potentially late in the year when they get in the tournament could play 40 if needed and not have a problem. And it's like you said, no aspect of his game seemed to drop off at any time. He didn't sacrifice a certain part of his game to improve another part of his game. He's just an all-around stud. Plain and simple. There were people that drew comparisons to Phil Ford when they saw him. I forget what player it was that saw him and drew that comparison immediately. I know it's one game and we're trying not to overreact, but what we saw tonight, this kid is as complete of a player as you are going to see coming in at the college level. I mean, there's been some guys that have been really hyped over the last few years, but I don't feel, maybe it's just me, has there been a point guard that has been, this hyped and that looks the part this much as Cole Anthony?
The last time that you would probably say a point guard garnered this kind of hype, you probably go back to John Wall, and who lived up to it, because John Wall is sensational.
He's pretty good, man.
As a freshman at Kentucky back in John Calipari's first year. I think Cole Anthony is a guy that's going to embrace the stage, embrace the hype, embrace the pressure. There's pressure on you to deliver at Carolina. You're a point guard at point guard U. So you're filling in the shoes of now Kobe White, who was flourishing in the NBA 3 weeks in.
Right.
And so we're looking to you to Roy's giving you the keys to the engine or to the Cadillac, whatever you want to say, and it's your job to lead the team.
Oh, yeah. And you ain't got no one in the passenger seat or in the back seat that can take over and drive either. They're all injured. It's all you, baby. That's it.
and so it's something that, we'll speak on this as we kind of start wrapping this up. As fun as tonight was, and it was a lot of fun watching him be special, it shows you where Carolina is right now. And they missed Brandon Robinson tonight.
Yep.
And Leaky Black, 5 points, 2 of 7 from the field. Yeah,
he did not have a great night either.
Isn't great, but if he's going to give you 7 rebounds and 5 assists, it's
looked good on the defensive end as well. Had some moments where he looked good.
It's going to offset you. I'm trying to get the stat for what Carolina was on his 3-point shots. They were 6 of 10 in the second half, 10 of 20 from the game. Those are really good numbers, but again, all of those 6 of those came from Cole Anthony.
Well, one thing to notice about with that is look at the drop off in that number from a year ago. That number was in the 30s consistently for shots taken from 3 a year ago,
which means that you're going to be able to get the ball inside more successfully. There was one time where I yelled, I demanded, put the ball inside.
Okay, well, you do that every game, to be fair.
Well, I did, but
you would do that if you would seriously do that if Nate Britt was playing the 5. I mean, I'm going to be brutally honest with you.
And what happened?
You love inside basketball.
I bark it. True. He gives the ball to Garrison Brooks and one. And so, and I think that's key, is that Cole Anthony does it. He didn't get caught up in his success behind the arc. Still found teammates, put the ball inside, and allowed this team to be successful.
Hammers home the complete player. I mean, look, they say that guys can see everything on the floor and everything like that, and that's an expression. If there's someone that can see everything on the floor, it's looking like it's this kid. I mean, he's all over. I mean, he sees everything.
Yeah, and look, it's going to be a lot of fun, but, Carolina's going to need more from Leaky. Keeling's going to get better. Mild surprise tonight, a guy we've put a lot of pressure on. Andrew Platek.
You
was really wow.
You took mine.
Katie, I'm going to delete that out of the podcast when we do post-production.
I was hoping you wouldn't point him out.
Well, I mean, look,
because I was going to step up and point him out because this is a guy that his first few years on campus, he has received a ton of criticism.